Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a high-stakes, honestly kind of bizarre food challenge that is going to test your observation skills to the absolute limit. We're breaking down a fascinating piece of source material, a survival scenario essentially, and figuring out exactly how someone can use nothing but their raw senses and a bit of deductive reasoning to spot hidden dangers sitting right in plain sight. We're going to carefully investigate the clues presented, and by the time we wrap up, I guarantee you'll look at your dinner plate in a totally different way. Let's get right into the setup of this mystery. Okay, let's dive into this. The magic number we're focusing on today is 3. Picture this. You sit down at a table, and there are exactly 3 distinct, mouth-watering meals sitting right in front of you. On the surface, it looks like a total feast, right? Looks like a great time. But man, this isn't your normal dinner party. There is a massive, immediate catch to this scenario that turns this ordinary dining table into an absolute minefield.
Here is the terrifying bombshell. Out of those 3 delicious-looking meals, exactly 2 of them are secretly poisoned. Yeah, no joke. 2 of them contain dangerous substances that absolutely do not belong anywhere near your digestive system. The stakes literally could not be higher. You're starving, the food is right there, but making the wrong choice has disastrous consequences. We're looking at a 2/3 chance of total failure if we just guess blindly. But hey, we aren't going to just guess. We're going to use structure, observation, and the clues provided in our source material to solve this puzzle.
So that brings us to the ultimate question: which meal actually isn't poisoned? I want to challenge you right now as we go through this explainer to play along with this whole whodunit mystery. I'm going to present the evidence exactly as it was discovered, and I want you to really ask yourself, could your own senses save you in this situation? Would you notice the subtle red flags, or would you take a bite and realize your mistake way too late? Let's bring out our very first suspect and see what we can find.
Suspect number 1, sweet pizza. On the surface, it looks like a completely ordinary, savory dish. But when you're dealing with a literal life-or-death menu, you've got to engage all of your senses. And that is where the narrative around this pizza takes a very unexpected turn. The first crucial red flag is a jarring sensory disconnect. One of the best ways to check if something is totally off is your nose. And in this case, the pizza smells undeniably sweet. Think about that for a second. Savory, cheesy pizza definitely shouldn't carry a sweet aroma. If it does, our source warns that this uncharacteristic sweetness could actually be antifreeze. Crazy, right? But we don't just stop at a suspicion, we verify. The ultimate confirmation is inspecting it under UV light. It turns out some types of antifreeze can actually glow brightly under ultraviolet light. So a sweet smell combined with a glowing reaction, that definitively marks this pizza as our first poisoned meal. 1 down, 2 to go.
Let's move to and see how this builds with suspect number 2, camphor dessert, specifically a visually perfect plate of gulab jamun and ice cream.
Now, for those who know it, gulab jamun is an incredibly rich, syrupy treat. But just like that pizza, the deception is hiding right beneath the surface, just waiting for the right conditions to reveal itself. And this brings us to a truly visceral, totally unappetizing sensory clash: the mothball scent. Imagine leaning in, super excited to take a bite of that amazing-looking ice cream and warm dessert, and instead of sweet syrup, it smells exactly like a grandmother's closet. The source material emphasizes a fascinating detail here. It is specifically when the dish is heated up that it gives off this incredibly strong, overpowering mothball smell. Heat is the catalyst that betrays the poison.
Now, what's really interesting about this definition is that this distinct grandma's closet smell isn't just some random foul odor. It's actually a dead giveaway for a specific substance called camphor. Camphor emits that exact, intense mothball odor, especially when it's subjected to heat. Because the freshly made gulab jamun is served warm, it causes the hidden camphor to off-gas, completely ruining the whole illusion of a safe dessert. With that undeniable olfactory evidence, we've officially identified and marked our second meal as poisoned.
Well, that leaves us with suspect number 3, tricky tenders. The chicken itself looks and smells totally fine, but the accompanying sauces require a completely different investigative approach. We know the chicken tenders don't smell like sweet antifreeze or mothball camphor, but you can't exactly just casually sniff a sealed sauce packet or dipping cup and know what's inside, right? And this brilliantly illustrates the exact visual inspection techniques you must use. First up, you check for signs of external tampering. If you inspect the container and spot, say, a tiny hole or a weird stain, that is a massive red flag that something dangerous might have been injected right into it. But let's say the packaging is completely intact. Next, you've got to look at the texture of the sauce itself. If it looks strangely oily or like the ingredients are separating unnaturally, that's a texture warning that something foreign may have been mixed in. You really have to be hypervigilant about both the packaging and the consistency. The ultimate survival takeaway. We've eliminated the threats and found our safe meal. But before we wrap up our investigation, let's talk about the core philosophy behind everything we've just discussed. Fortunately, in our specific scenario, a close inspection of the sauces revealed no tiny holes, no weird stains, and a perfectly normal texture. The tenders are safe, and the sauce is clear. We successfully navigated the culinary minefield. So the crucial point is this: when in doubt, throw it out. This quote from the source material is the central, actionable takeaway of this entire explainer. Whether it's a pizza that smells just a little too sweet, a dessert that off-gasses a strange scent, or a sauce packet with a microscopic puncture, you do not take the risk. If your senses give you even a shadow of a doubt, your absolute best survival tactic is to discard it immediately. Never ever gamble with your safety just because something looks appetizing on the surface. So, let's do a quick recap of our findings to officially close the case. We started with 3 meals and 2 hidden poisons. We used our sense of smell and a bit of UV light knowledge to connect the sweet-smelling pizza to antifreeze. We noted how heat literally activated the mothball scent of camphor in that gulab jamun dessert. And finally, after a rigorous visual inspection of the packaging and the texture, we confirmed that the chicken tenders and their sauces were entirely free of tampering. We found the one safe meal, and we proved it by methodically eliminating the threats.
Which brings us right back to you. We've laid out the clues, the sensory red flags, and the visual tampering signs. But out there in the real world, without a guide walking you through it step by step, would you trust your own senses to spot the hidden danger? The next time something smells just slightly off, or a package looks just a tiny bit strange, I hope you remember this explainer. Keep your eyes sharp, trust your nose, and remember the golden rule. Stay curious, stay observant, and I'll catch you next time.